reason or another. It's great.
It's I don't know what's going on tonight.
I do. It's called being Michael.
It could be. Yeah. I'm never late for the show, and I'm like way out of time here. So we got some folks turning in. So
hello, everybody.
Start saying hello. How are things going? So
happy.
Yep. Go ahead.
No, you do it. It's your mom.
I actually got off the phone with her just before. That's probably why I messed up. So happy birthday, Mom.
Happy birthday.
So, hi, Tim.
Oh, hey, Tim. Lots of people.
Hi, Colette. Yeah, folks are tuning in.
Yeah. Hi, everyone.
Carrie. Thanks for sharing over on Instagram. Folks, as you're tuning in, please like, share, subscribe, hit those like buttons and get the word out there, especially on the YouTube. Check out our YouTube channel. Tonight we're coming. So tonight we're coming to you from, hi, Penny. We're coming to you from WLFE DB Radio on Facebook. Where's My Sage on Facebook? Hi, Tanya.
Hi, Tanya.
Let's see. I'll let you go click the hellos as I go through the rest of the list. So, no.
Wow.
So, we're on.
Mute yourself. Unmute yourself. You click on this. You click on that. Man, you're starting to slowly make me take over your part of the job now, too. What the hell is up with that?
It's almost time to go back in the woods again.
I think you need to go now.
So, hi, Melissa.
All right, I got this. Go ahead.
All right, go ahead. So we are coming to you from Where's My Sage on Facebook, Where's My Sage on YouTube, Christy London, Reiki Master, and
come on, you're killing me.
I told you today is going to be one of those days.
Let's say, remember everybody else together.
Key.
All right.
There we go. It's there, So we're going for Christy's business page, her public page, Tactical Bigfoot Research on Facebook and YouTube, and Christy's business page on YouTube. For tonight, we will also be hitting all those wonderful podcast locations: iTunes, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Google Play, Spreaker, Spotify, and about 20 others. So if you're looking for the show, we're out there. We're rocking around. So if you have to sneak out for some reason tonight, you can catch our podcast on a little later on YouTube or on one of those wonderful other podcast locations for the audio. And all our old shows are up there as well. Yes, please share it up. Like it up.
Tim says he's not seeing any comments on Facebook yet. Share it up. Get it out there for us.
There's going to be, depends on what page you're coming into. Oh, he's haunting us from both sides today.
Yeah, he's got it. Yeah, he's good.
Rick and Ray. So we've got what's been going on your end, Christy? Anything new and exciting?
A whole lot of snow.
Yeah. Same here. Going to work this morning was an experience. So
I didn't have Texas. To. I came to work right here. It was all good.
It's not Texas where they don't even know what to do with all the snow they've got down there. Crazy. Nothing really new on the Bigfoot end, but the Kickstarter for Small Town Monsters on the Trail of the Journey still out there, and some other the Rougarou and the UFOs. So check their stuff out. Remember, we're big supporters of Small Town Monsters. They're a big support of us too. So let's see. And one last housekeeping note from my side, and then I will let you introduce our guests. So, folks, we still have that giveaway going on over at on our Instagram and our YouTube channel. When we hit 500 subscribers, for lucky viewer will be getting a Bigfoot research kit. When we hit 750 subscribers, another lucky viewer will get a paranormal research kit. And when we hit 1,000, custom X8 tactical field knife. That's one of my Morgans. That's one of my custom designs. Will be given those away to a lucky viewer. So,
come on, you guys. Right. These are some cool gifts. Very useful, very helpful too. That's awesome. So nothing really this week, really uneventful, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, busy and for all the right reasons, but not as busy as our guest, though. That's for sure. This dude doesn't sleep. I've been worried about him for years now. I don't know how he does it.
So who do we got tonight?
Tonight we have Daniel Klaes. He is all over the damn place. We're just going to bring him on because there's just no other way to just introduce him, but just to say, here's Dan. Dan is actually the owner of Hinsdale House and the founder of the Hinsdale House Restoration Project. I can't talk tonight either. I think some of my readings are carrying over from this morning. Yep. And he does a lot of things. He's co-founder of the Greater WNY Paranormal Society. He's actually on the show Ghost Finders now. He's an author, a speaker, travels all over, career insomniac, the whole bit. So
I don't know how he does it. The man is always on the go.
I know he has a family and it's just crazy. So he's quite the busy guy, but he's really out there making a difference. So let's bring him on. Without further ado, here's Dan.
Are you clicking? You clicking?
Oh, you're clicking. You know what?
I clicked.
You
clicked.
Thank God.
What is up, sir?
How's it going?
Welcome to the show.
Yes. We are so happy to have
you. Say welcome to the snow or the show?
Oh,
both. It's right? Western New York for all three of us, so it's always welcome to the snow.
I think it's like half the world right now.
Yeah.
For Dan and I, we actually got it worse than you did this time. Usually it's reversed.
Yeah, stuff happens. I talked to a buddy in Texas today. They got lots of it, So got some folks tuning in. So it's Dan's fault we're together. We'll get to that in a few minutes later because wonderful location. So
absolutely. So Dan, you have a lot of things going on, my friend.
I do.
A lot of things.
But if you're not busy, what's you got to take advantage of things. Keep pushing forward, right? Have fun with life.
Yeah, absolutely. We have to do something. A lot of folks
tuning in here.
Well, that's good.
What?
We'd have to give them punches in the noses if they didn't tune in, right?
That's right. See? Great minds think alike. I know. And
psychic voodoo stuff, we'll just go after them.
Back to basics. I like that. Back to basics. That's awesome. So what's been going on in your busy world? You are all over the place. You don't stop.
Yeah, I mean, for like the past month or so, I've been working on this big giveaway thing with Nick Groff, and been working on his new show, Death Walker, which, we'll be able to make some announcements on that very soon. But the giveaway is pretty awesome. It's going to be a once in a lifetime opportunity to do a one-on-one investigation with Nick Groff at the Hinsdale House. And I might show up too at an undisclosed time, but no matter where you are in the world, it will include your airfare, hotel accommodations, money for food, and $750 cash. So it's an amazing thing to do, It's called Nick Groff Giveaway 2021, and you just go to nickgroffgiveaway2021.com. We also started up a page of diehard Nick Groff fans, Hinsdale House fans, called the Nick Groff Explorers on Facebook. So if anybody's interested in joining that, you can get all your updates on there. It's really become like an awesome little community for paranormal folks and enthusiasts, where everybody's, since we started the group, we've only had to ban like 2 people. Everybody's getting along. Everybody's understanding. Everybody seems to be like on the same page and, are able to work through differences and try to listen to other people's opinions. And it's really great. So
that's awesome.
Got about 6,600 people in there already.
Wow. Cool. And I just dropped the URL right into the comment section, so everybody will be able to see that. I'll also put it into the YouTube as well, so you guys can find that link. And are we allowed to show the website? Yeah. So I can bring that up real quick in 2, 3 window.
And the cool thing about the whole giveaways is everybody's a winner. You can earn points, and the points can be incurred to get free stuff. Free Nick Groff swag, sweatshirts, ringtones, poster. There's so much free stuff. Mugs are going to be given away. Wow. And it's just endless as far as like we're every week we're dropping new things that you can do to earn free points. And once you're in, everybody's got a chance to win the investigation, though. It's going to be done at random in July.
And you got a nice countdown timer. So you got 3 months, 15 days, 23 hours, 46 minutes, and 42 seconds.
Let's see if we can get that one on the knob. Holy cow.
Wow.
So everything you need there is right on there. And like I said, folks, I just dropped that URL in there. It's a cool little website there. And I will go ahead and put that in YouTube for any of you folks listening on the podcast later on. Please go over to the YouTube, and that link will be in there. So it's awesome. And, Nick's got a nice little comment in here, so we can go ahead and
extremely excited to announce
get that out.
Brand new Nick Groff giveaway contest that my team and I put together.
Oh, cool. You're playing the video.
A one-on-one investigation with myself and my team at the infamous Hinsdale House in Hinsdale, New York. I'm covering all of the costs, including your trip, regardless of where you are in the world, your hotel stay, and I'm even giving you $750 for food and $500 in cash for you to spend while you're here. Plus, I'm going to give you a personalized video congratulating you on your win. No purchase is necessary for you to win. Just click on the button and then enter your information now. I'll see you on the inside. Oh, and by the way, there is only one grand prize winner, but there are no losers here. Everyone can win by unlocking rewards that can be unlocked at any time simply by taking action on the next page. There's a lot of cool stuff waiting for you in there. So make sure to take action now, sign up, and I'll see you in there. What's up, everybody?
Cool.
Wow, cool. That's a really nice video. Love it.
And the fire pit's still up. That's nice to see. You got the fire pit still going up there.
Yeah,
Mike loves the fire pit.
That's from last winter. It's buried right now in like 2 feet of snow. So,
wow, I'll bet. That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's been a big project, putting that together, getting the website ready, and just kind of getting everything together. But the cool thing is with the group, like people that are engaging in the group, it's a way to also engage with Nick more too. Like he's in there commenting on people's posts, watching their videos, talking to them, where it's a little bit more difficult on his main page where he's got like a 700,000 people on there, like it's cool. It's a little bit more intimate, and it's fun. Seems like a lot of fun for everybody. So
that's great. Well, and Nick has such a cool personality anyways, just laid back and go with the flow. Every time I've seen him do an interview, or, he's been with you on your shows in the past, and just very easy to listen to and just comforting, just comfortable, familiar.
Yeah.
It's good like that. That's why I get along with him.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're kind of like that. So I can see totally like that. Absolutely. I think the first time we talked, we were on the phone for like 2 hours, didn't even think about it.
Seems like just yesterday, huh? When you were this shy, timid little thing. Ready to move forward in the world.
Well, I don't know if I could ever be accused of being shy and timid, although when it came to this, yeah. For sure.
Now look what we've created, Mike.
Yeah, she's,
be careful. You still have to investigate with me.
Yeah. So how did you get into investigating, Dan?
I got into investigating, I met Cameron DeVoyne. We were working together at a law firm, and one day I walked in, and I had my own personal interest in the paranormal, and I didn't know, I didn't really explore other people locally that were interested in it. When I walked into the office, his desk was right there, and he had these pictures of eerie looking figures, and I said, "What are those?" And he told me he captured them at the Teddy Roosevelt Museum on Delaware Avenue. I'm like, "Oh, so you're into that?" And then we went into the back room and we started talking and showing each other pictures, and decided to start investigating together locally and in the Northeast, going into bigger locations and doing a lot of residential stuff. And we formed our group, the Greater WNY Paranormal Society, and it's been an ongoing thing. We have a couple members that are flip-flopped or gone, don't do it anymore, but for the most part, we still have our core group, and we just enjoy what we do as far as trying to help people, and also enjoyed going into the bigger locations to just like everybody else, going in those bigger locations, looking at the claims, trying to see if you can come up with that answer that somebody else didn't get, and it's fun. It's something that I enjoyed, and I enjoyed spending my time doing it and researching it.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's weird.
That is weird.
It is weird.
I sound like a monster.
One time I was doing a show and something was going on with my Wi-Fi, and they were calling me like robotic. I was sounding very robotic.
Really?
Yeah, and I was doing an interview with Dee Garcia on my show that I used to do, and we had Dustin Perry on, and I couldn't be involved with the whole interview because I sounded like a robot, so I just had to sit back and watch the show.
Well, you had it easy that night. You get to sit back, look pretty, chill out, let her do all the work.
Every now and then I try to see if my Wi-Fi was working, and you hear and I was like, oh, geez. And after that point, I was like, I called up Spectrum because that's the only internet provider I can have in North Tonawanda, obviously. And I called them up. I'm like, just give me your best package. I don't care anymore. Just I can't have my internet going down.
It's awful, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's horrible. I know. Oh my gosh. So Schmitz.
Dandroid. That's right. That's what they called me, Dandroid. I was trying to think of it, and I'm like, oh, and Kevin just said it in the chat.
That's awesome. So you grew up in a haunted house, though.
I did.
You did. And you actually were on a show about it.
Yeah. My Paranormal Nightmare. If anybody wants to check that out, it's on Discovery Plus.
Do you want to share that, or do you want them to just go watch?
No, I mean, they can go watch, but I mean, that's where my interest in the paranormal stemmed from. You know, I grew up in a location where weird things happened, and like crayon drawings on the ceiling when nobody was home. I would hear kids singing, and then we'd run up the stairs and nobody would be up there. My wife thought she saw a young girl. My son thought she saw a little boy, and it was I had nothing against you, Christy, but at that time of my life, I didn't really believe in psychics. I do now. You know, I do now. I got
an army of them.
Yeah, I got coaxed into going to a Lilydale, and I ended up seeing Ellen Bourne, and I remember she was the president at the time. And before I even sat down in the chair with her, and before I actually gave her any money for my reading, even she said, "You have 2 children's spirits living in your house," and I was like, "Oh my God." Like, how did that get pinpointed? I didn't even say anything yet, you know, like, and then she went on to tell me some more stuff, and that they were attached to something in the house, and I had no clue what that was. And not until later, when I purchased the house from my parents, did I find these paintings up in the attic that I had never gone into. They were a painting of a little boy and a little girl, and there was a series of 5 paintings playing with a dog, and they actually took the real picture and put it on the show. They superimposed it onto a painting. It was actually a lot bigger than what they put on the show, but still cool that it was the original. They tried to make it as original as possible when I was telling the story.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, I mean, it was creepy when I was a kid. I remember definitely having a creep factor. I felt really creepy going into the basement because I was scared something was watching me or following me at all times. And you always heard like footsteps and creaks on the stairs, and there's nobody there, and it's like, I always just thought I was a little crazy at the beginning, but now we know we're all just crazy.
I can't relate to that at all.
No.
Not at all. No. Wow. So what made you buy your parents' house, the house that was haunted?
I mean, I never had any negative things happen to me there, and I really enjoyed, like, I think back to my childhood, and I thought how much I enjoyed going to school, where I went to school, and I knew all the neighbors, you know, and I thought it would be cool to be able to have my children go to the same grammar school that I went to, and grow up in the same neighborhood and have that same backyard that I had so much fun in that when I was a kid, and, you know, just made it our own. And that was kind of the reason I bought it from my parents, you know, so we kept it in the family, and, you know, they gave me a deal on it. So
that's always a help, isn't it?
And at the end of the day, they gave me a deal. So
yeah, that's the clincher.
Yeah.
So these locations seem to find you.
They do.
I mean, after you left left the house, you got that house. Then you moved on. What's your next big location you moved on to as a home base, let's say, for investigations for you?
Are you talking about the Hinsdale House?
Hinsdale House? Was there something between your family home and then the Hinsdale House, or
no? I mean, I had just purchased a new home for our family. We actually bought our neighbor's house across the street from that house, so now I wake up every morning and see my old house that I grew up in, which is kind of cool. And the new people that own it don't really have, I don't try to flip them out or anything, but they haven't really told me anything that has happened to them. I feel like we kind of helped cross those kids over, and I still have the paintings with me to this day. I brought them to my new house, but I feel like once we acknowledged their names, because we were able to figure out who they were, they died of cystic fibrosis, and I felt like that helped cross them over. But I do feel like they can come back when they want, but I think that they're happy where they are now.
That's awesome.
How old was the house?
The house is built in 1920.
Okay.
Wow.
So your parents were second or third owners of the house, or were you the third? No,
they were the third. I was the fourth owner. My parents were the third.
Okay.
And for those of you who don't know, the area Dan lives in is very historic in our area, and is very old. A lot of people settled in that area.
It's within walking distance from the Erie Canal too. Like I'm right on the canal, which has its history of its own. So.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Even the cemeteries, you can see the cemeteries in that area just full of people, children, who passed from all different things. And
it's weird when I look on the search and survey, it says where the house is built, where my original house was built, and even the house I'm in now and part of the yard, that there was a ditch. Then they must have diverted the ditch into the canal and filled it in. So if you we're digging in the backyard, you'll find like remnants of like bottles and weird things like that. I can't even imagine if I were to dig up my whole backyard what I'd find.
That would be very interesting.
Are there any experiences in the new home?
No. I mean, I really haven't had any experiences here. The house, considering what I do and my family lives here, we've had the house blessed, and I have all the doors blessed, and I haven't really had any occurrences that have happened here, knock on wood, that it's affected my family at all. So
okay. That's great.
Yeah.
So where were some of those first locations that you started to investigate then, when you and your team got together? And
the first location we ever went to, and it was a big one. I was like impressed that we even were able to get in there by ourselves. The old Fort Niagara. We had the whole location to ourselves. It was closed, and it was like just 10 of us there, and it was just amazing just to be able to walk there alone at night and just listen and go in the underground tunnels and hear voices coming from there. And we caught this amazing picture. I remember Cameron called it, "Oh my God, the Holy Grail on our first investigation." He gets so excited about stuff.
He's so funny.
Yeah, he is. And it was, we caught a picture in the Jesuit temple in the French castle at Old Fort Niagara of this silhouette of a ghost, and it wasn't a full picture, so it was like cut off, like it looked like the legs were cut off. And then we caught this other picture. It looked like a soldier walking on the hill in the background, and it had, how sometimes they say that when you're capturing an entity or an energy and it has like black marks on it, that might have been its impact zone of where it died. So that's how the soldier looked. It was just like a circle right where his chest would have been, but it's carrying a gun, and just unbelievable evidence that we captured there on our first investigation. We were just rookies. We had no clue what we were doing. We were just hoping. We had our basic $2.99 paranormal kit that you could get off eBay, and we're trying to do what we could do. Just learning. But it was a good place to start.
Yeah, that was certainly. Yeah, that's not a beginner. That's not a place for beginners. That's awesome.
Well, and it's a beautiful location too. It's a nice location right there on the lake, and as long as you're not trying to get in your cell phone and keep picking up Canada instead of the States. And
Yeah.
Right.
The
whole area is amazing.
Now, you say those were your beginnings. Who were your early mentors in the field when you guys got started, and where did you go at the time to start looking into these things? The background.
I mean, I definitely was interested in the shows that were on, like Ghost Hunters and Ghost Adventures. So it's funny that I get to hang out with the guy that I watched and kind of learn from. But I think we all come up with our own techniques and our own ways of investigating. You take what you can see and then you try to do it your own way or make it your own way and try to get the best reactions that you can get. I used to watch Haunted Collector with John Zaffis, and what an amazing personality he is, just to be able to sit and chat with him and bend his mind and listen to what he has to say. And of course, Ed and Lorraine Warren, just looking at all their case files and how interesting that was. It takes a whole different side to things, but the history's there, and you just learn from it all. You just keep learning and becoming your own. I remember when I first saw Nick, when I first bought the Hinsdale house, and I knew he was coming there, and I knew Katrina was coming there, and I remember watching her on Paranormal State, and I couldn't believe it when I got the contract in the mail, because I didn't know that it was him. I didn't know that it was Nick Groff, and when the contract came and it said Groff Entertainment, and I was like, wait a second. Is this guy, he's coming here? Like, really?
Right.
Just to be able to meet him and talk to him and watch him and learn from him has been amazing.
So, I might be skipping too far, but how did you end up down at Hinsdale?
Funny story. No, I was normally the guy on the team, the responsible one. So there's got to be somebody that's responsible, that makes sure that the venues are paid for, people, gas, all that kind of stuff. And I was always good with the money aspect of things. And for the most part, when we booked a location, I would make sure that all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, so we don't look like schmucks, because I don't want anybody to think that we would take advantage of a situation or something like that. So Cameron came to me and booked the house, and I didn't really know too much about the Hinsdale house at that point, except for it was there, and I knew that Mark and Corinne Hudson and they were all running the location, and it hasn't been someplace that I had been to yet, but I did know that there was failed exorcism there. And Cameron's like, I booked the location, didn't tell us where it was, and then told us he'd brief us when we get there, and that's normally my job. And we came into the house, sat into the living room, and it was just a shell. I mean, it only had electric heaters and that one room with electricity at the time. And he had us sit on the couch and watch the episode of A Haunting, Dark Forest.
Yeah.
And I just remember looking at him, and I'm like, are you effing kidding me right now? Like, kind of how your reaction was, Christy, when I said, come and investigate the Hinsdale house, like, no effing way. But except I was there and didn't know it, like I was
right.
in a situation. And so
I didn't even have any background the first time I showed up. Teddy said, come on, we're going to go meet Dan down there. Okay.
Yeah.
No big deal.
You mentioned Bigfoot to me before. I'm like, oh, we'll go look for Bigfoot. Yeah.
But I felt like the house was calling. I felt like the house, the energies were manipulating all of our equipment. I felt like I didn't feel anything negative for me. And not a lot of people get that negative vibe, but when they get there, they know that the energy is changing, and I think it's because of all the positiveness that we're bringing to the location. That definitely it's still a bastard of a spirit there. I know that for sure, but there's for the most part, try to just stay positive, stay grounded, and focus on the positive things. But I just felt like, unlike any location I've ever been to, that this little house was giving me the most reactions out of anything that I've ever gone to. And it just, I don't know, I just felt connected to the place. I felt like I didn't want it to be destroyed or taken down, even though it was in such crappy condition. just because I felt like there was more that needed to be said, and I wanted to be able to help give those energies a voice. And we've been able to do that so far, and we're still continuing to do that.
So give us a little background and history of the Hinsdale House then.
Well, for those that don't know, I mean, it became famous in the 1970s. The Dandy family moved there from Buffalo, and they started having like activity happening that they couldn't explain. Bumblebees, or there are bees there that were still there to the day when I bought it, and they were having like poltergeist activity happening in the house. They were seeing creatures that they couldn't explain what they were on the outside of the house. They'd see spirits, but they would look like people, and they would see them like looking in the windows, and they'd run outside to see who was there, and then they'd look inside the window, and they'd be inside the house. They saw a dancing woman in white around the pond. So they were really getting affected. They were especially their daughter Laura. She was getting affected the most by all the occurrences that were happening there. And she was writing letters to priests at the local college, St. Bonaventure. And one of the priests there, Father Alphonsus Trabolt, who was very big into the occult, really, I mean, he worked with Ed and Lorraine Warren on some cases, and he studied that stuff. So it was pre any of this kind of thing happening, pre The Exorcist, if you will. And he started helping them. He came there and performed a mass, and that didn't help. And then he came and had the structural exorcism performed at the location. When they were there, they said that the house shook and it was cleared within a minute. And then it came back full force, and he had told the guys, the priest told the family that his best advice at this point is for them to leave, and they did. And they hightailed it out to California.
Wow.
Yeah. Families moved in and out of that building up and through the 80s when Jackie's family lived there. Flo and Joe Misnick, the grandparents lived there. And then then it sat vacant until I bought it. I mean, the project was started by Mark and Corinne Hudson, who are local paranormal investigators. And they had an awesome group of people trying to help get that place going. But unfortunately, the guy that owned it was in Calgary, and all the money was getting funneled there. So their hands were kind of tied. And it's so hard when you're giving something your all and not getting a return, And eventually that just bears down on you, and they had to let it go. And I remember, knowing that it was going to be torn down, because I didn't want to disrespect them. And I talked to them and asked if they would mind if I tried to purchase it. And they were good with it, with open arms. And then I did it crazily.
That's great.
Yeah.
So we have some comments I just want to bring up here. So Colette actually brings up a good point about something that we see in all different locations with all different situations. She says she's had a few experiences in work, while on nights cannot debunk it, and only happens on a Thursday between 9:15 and 9:45. That can happen whether they're memories, do you think anything like that happens at Hinsdale? Has anybody ever told you anything about that, or have you experienced anything like that at Hinsdale?
Not residual, not like where it happens constantly at the same time every day or every year or even every month. So nothing like that there.
Have you ever experienced it at all at any other place or on an investigation?
Well, I guess it's hard. It's hard to determine unless you're constantly going into that location. Like for her instance, while she's at work, she's there every day. Whereas when we're going to investigate locations, the only way for us to do that is to be able to dedicate a week, 2 weeks, maybe 3 or maybe a month at a location. And that's difficult to do, especially with people that do this as a hobby and aren't making money off of it. And it's just hard. So as much as I would love to do that, I still got to pay the bills, and I still got to work. So
yeah, don't we all?
Yeah. Well, we all don't have easy jobs like you, though.
Wow. Okay, do I go there or not?
No, don't go there. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I'm gonna hide back here behind the green screen.
Mike, just watch how it's done, buddy. Watch how it's done.
Yes.
Beg for forgiveness before she gets going.
Wow. I'm just
I'm kidding.
here. I know. I wasn't even referring to the mediumship.
Yeah, well, that too.
That too.
So on an average month, how much time do you spend up at the house?
It depends. In the summertime, if we have projects going on, I'll be up there more frequently. But we have a great team of folks that help out, like Billy and Chelsea does stuff up there, and Tiffany's, our neighbor, has been helping out, and Tom and Kat, whoever, Ed and Louise. You name it. There's so many people that will help if I need to, that will come down and do stuff. It's great, so. I don't try to get too infatuated with the location because it's something that could definitely, I could put all of my time into. And I do put a lot of time into it, but I try to do it from afar and then kind of manage,
Yeah. Well, yeah, because it's still a trip. It's
still
a drive.
It's a 3-hour swing every time I got to go down there.
Right.
So I definitely will go down at least 2 to 3 times a month because I want to make sure that, like, we're stocking, like popping water and just making sure that the place is clean or if it needs anything. And every now and then I'll get requests to meet a team. And if I'm available and they want me to come down, I'll definitely come down. I have requests for teams to have me investigate with them. And, if I don't have anything going on that weekend, I definitely try to make every effort to get down there. So It all depends. Like this summer, I spent more time there than ever because I filmed Decades, the show that I directed, Behind the Shadows Decades, and then we built the deck on the pond, and we did a lot of stuff there this summer. So,
and you've had a lot of famous people investigators down to the location, correct?
Yeah. It's open for anybody that wants to come. Jack kind of comes down 2 or 3 times a year and does a program, and he's very familiar with the location, and he does an overnight there. But I have Sherry D. Benedetti coming down at the end of June from Ghost Hunters, and we'll be doing a tour together for 2 nights, Friday and Saturday night. It's this year is going to be difficult though to do all those special things because what I basically did is anybody that was affected by COVID that had a booking last year, we allowed them to just rebook into this year. So those bookings on top of all the fresh new ones, I literally, I think I have like 2 Fridays open, and then all the Fridays and Saturdays I booked through October already this year. So that's a good problem to have.
It is.
And, we'll just keep going with it. I just tried to be as understanding as possible with everybody with what was going on, and
I'm going to drop the website in that for your calendar and your some more information on the house. I'll drop that right into the comments right now.
So that website, guys, danielklaes.com. You can get information on the Hinsdale House. You can also get information on Wildwood Sanitarium. We are going to be next week. We'll be talking to the folks again at Riverworks, so we can start doing the GLF grain terminal tours again in the spring, and also start up the tours at Lafayette Hotel again. I know Christy, you guys enjoyed that when we were there.
Yeah.
So we're going to be, all that will be up on my website for events and stuff like that. So, and I know that I went to explore Statler with Connor a few weeks ago. Statler Hotel in downtown Buffalo. I think we may be able to. I think Connor's itching. I think he wants to. So I think we might be able to do a few events there as well.
That would be amazing.
You're not going to believe it's so different. It's unbelievable. Yeah.
I can't. I miss it so much. So much.
Yeah. Brian says Wildwood is awesome.
Love Wildwood.
Yep. Christy and I, we were there with Jack. Jack Henna. And
Lori's doing an amazing job. We've been trying to save money to get the roof done. And this year she was able to start getting that done. And it's just amazing. She's reinforcing the sides of the doll room right now that had a hole in it. And they're putting up that new cement there. And hopefully in the spring, she'll get the other half of the roof done. And that place will be stabilized. And then they're going to focus on rebuilding the old barn in the back too. So that's cool. And that's all been done by everybody patronizing the location and enjoying the location and helping with the donations and stuff. So
yeah, that's awesome. I know. I hope they have another event too to help raise money. I wanted to be there, and then I had to back out because with all the COVID stuff, one of the events I was already pre-committed to had rescheduled, and I had to stick with that commitment, and I had to back out. Oh, I was so disappointed.
it's okay.
It looked like it was a good event, and it would have been so much fun, but didn't it rain? Did it rain?
It did at the end, and it was fine because we did what we had to do, and we had the drawings, and you know what? It was such a nice breath of fresh air because everybody's just confined up to that point, and to just be able to have an outdoor event and enjoy it's just a little feeling of normalcy, just being able to see other people and vendors and things like that. That was so nice, and I think we made like $2,200 or $2,600 for the location for that event. So
oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Scott and Deidre from Skulls Gate Paranormal were a big part of that too.
They've been really working their butts off, really to help all different locations in the area.
For a purpose. They just donated $1,000 to
yes.
What was the location in Lovejoy? The old church there. What was it called? Iron Island Museum. Yeah.
Oh, right. Oh my gosh. Yes. I know that's really bad. Okay.
And that's what I got to give you credit for, Dan, is that you find some awesome historical locations and try to help give them a new breath of life.
Yeah.
Be it the hotels or some of these old sanitariums or Hinsdale. I seem like we're following you around all over the place, and
whatever you can do. I mean, if somebody thinks that having my presence at a location will help them, I'll be there. That's a little bit of things that we can do. So if that helps, then I'll do it.
And it's amazing that the draw that Hinsdale has. I think I'm at 7 times I've been up there now. That's the location that I met Christy, and this is how the show. So we'll blame you for this podcast. But
and that was the first time I was ever there too. Finally, because Dan would bust my chops for, "Are you guys going to let you go to the Hinsdale House yet? Your guides going to let you go?" Because my spirit guides would never let me go. I wasn't ready. What do you want me to tell you? Then, are you sure? He even signed the inside of my book and gave me a smart ass comment inside.
Not me. I would never be a smart ass. What are you talking about?
No, never. So,
but along with spirits up there, you also had your experiences with Pugwudgies, correct?
Yeah. I mean, it was a feeling that you always had going into the woods, like something was keeping an eye on you, or you hear footsteps. And not until when Jeff was there, Jeff Fent. I don't know if anybody's familiar with him, but he's a researcher that helps out with so many locations, and he's just so giving of a person, and I love him, and he is a mentor to me. I met him at Randolph County Infirmary years ago, and we experimented with our spirit boxes that night and did some pretty cool stuff. But he's welcome at any time because he's actually the one that captured the first picture of a Pukwudgie. He says, he's drawn to the woods, and he was using all these different light spectrums, and he captured. You've seen the picture, and it's up on my Greater WNY Paranormal Society and Hinsdale pages. But I mean, he captured that picture, and I was just like floored. I'm like, what in the world is that? I remember sending it to Nick and sending it to all these people and asking them what they thought it was, and then finally Chris Sutton said that's a Pukwudgie. He's that's what it is, and he explained to me what that was, because I'm like, a puck what? I don't even know what the heck that was.
So for those who are out there who don't know what that is, and maybe I might be one of those people, tell us what a puck is.
It's another form of cryptid that, I mean, basically it protects Indian burial grounds. It's an American cryptid, and it's known for being in the Northeast, and it made sense to me, So I know Chris has been there, and we've had other people from different backgrounds, paying homage to them and being able to hopefully let them know that we come with, good intentions when we're there. Right. I think they keep an eye on us, what we're doing,
There's definitely something out there that is cryptid based that does a nice little scream and yell, and I've heard up there myself, and so
right.
So
I mean, we were doing a camp out a few years ago, and Mike Page, he'll probably end up watching this at some point, but he I always like to tell this story because he's a big dude, big guy, you know, and he's a burly, and he's taking the girls up to the hanging tree in the middle of the night, you know, and all of a sudden they're walking down the dirt path, and you hear this crack, and it sounded like a whole tree got knocked over, and you hear this manly scream, and you see almost a 300-pound guy running like a sprint down the the mud, you know, the street.
Pre-stairs.
yeah. No, this was coming down from the hanging tree. So this was like, and then the girls are just walking down like, oh, nothing's wrong, you know, no big deal. Like, why is he running, you know? And he was freaked out because a tree got knocked over. Something knocked over a freaking tree, you know, like, hello.
No big deal.
Yeah, no big deal. Yeah. Let the hairy beast get me, you know, whatever.
Bring it on. That's what I say. Bring it on.
You brought up spirit boxes, and I know you're a fan, or at least seen you use some. I mean, we had an interesting experience there at Avon Inn that one night with the brand new box. And how often do you spend time with the spirit box, or what's your favorite piece of equipment to use while you're out with an investigation?
I mean, I have a lot of different spirit boxes, probably more than I should have. But I really like experimenting with them, trying them out. My favorite is my Geo box, you know, the one that looks like a radio that I always carry with me. Mm-hmm. I just feel very connected with it. I seem to I don't know, like if I could be like connected with my psychic side, you know, Christy, like I'm connected with that box. And I just had, I don't know if you guys watched the live I did a couple weeks ago when Rosa was here from up at the house, but I felt like I was freaked out. Like for the first time I heard Bernice's voice come through the box, and very unexpected. She always said she wanted to go with me to the Hinsdale House, but she was wheelchair bound, you know, and I know her presence is around me because every time I'm around any decent psychic, she's like, there's a lady trying to come through. I'm like, oh, please stop, you know, like, no, you're here, you know, like, and I've heard her in my head before, you know, and I'm admitting that. And I'm like, okay, you can shut up, Bernice, be quiet, you know, like.
Don't you love it? Don't you love it?
It's great. But yeah, her voice came through, and I was just, I felt goosebumps on my arms, and I was just kind of shocked. But it's cool to know that she's there, you know, that she was there, and she manipulated and used my equipment, and it was awesome.
That is cool.
Yeah.
So if you had a chance to go anywhere in the world, where do you want to go investigate next? Big spot.
Oh, I mean, one of the places I would love to just be able to be left alone for a day or two is the catacombs in Paris. I think that would be so cool. All those bones.
That's kind of crazy.
It is.
I talk to dead people for a living. So, I mean, that's kind of.
So is it the architecture? Is it the history? Is it
of the catacombs?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the history and the fact that the walls are made of human bones. I mean, I can't even imagine the energy that's there. And, you know, I'd have to definitely bring somebody that could speak French with me. But I think it would be just amazing to try to communicate with some of those entities that may be there. The energy is connected to their bodies. You know, they're just all scattered, and the walls are made out of bones. I mean, I've never seen that before. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Has there been someone there, or has somebody gone in and done it before? Or
not that I've ever seen. I mean, I don't know that they would let anybody, but that would definitely be a cool place to do it.
Schmitz says he's in.
Yes.
Schmitz is in.
I don't have to twist his arm too much.
No.
Usually if I come at him with an idea, or he comes at me with an idea, we're pretty good. Like, yeah, sure. Let's do it.
So what is your next big plan or project for Hinsdale House?
The next big project that I want to do is, I'm torn right now because we have uncovered the barn foundation on the right side of the property. So I'm thinking I may want to recreate a structure there of the old barn that burned down in the late 60s. And maybe bring, it would be cool to maybe bring some animals. They used to have horses there. I don't know. That's kind of where my mind is thinking I need to go. I did want to build a base camp and a museum, but I also think that that's important to recreate the structure as it was originally. So, and I do have pictures of the barn. So I don't know. I'm thinking that's maybe what I'm going to do next up there.
That's very interesting.
Looks like Ghost Adventures has been to the catacombs, and Kevin says he speaks French. So I guess I mean, you guys are close enough to the border, so I guess practice.
They also got to investigate London Bridge, which is really cool. Underneath, inside the bridge, and they've got to investigate some really cool places.
Wow.
Ghost Adventures for sure.
Huh.
Have you brought divers in yet, or run anything in?
I have
LiDAR, and did they find anything cool? An archaeological standpoint, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, the show Dead Remains that will be coming out. You'll have to wait for the revealance of the things that we found when that comes out.
So where would we find that? When is it going to debut?
Yeah, I mean, right now the show is, it's hopefully it's going to be this year. It's being turned into a series, so it's going to kind of be like an Oak Island, like like a Cecil Hotel investigation type of thing, where they're diving into not so much the paranormal, but the forensics and things like that. So it's going to be really cool.
That is awesome. Yeah, I can't wait for that. That's right up my alley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That covers both of my careers. So
yeah,
that's just an interest for me.
It just brings it peaks and brings the interest level even more. Paranormal is one thing, but to look at the folklore and then look at forensics and do all that type of stuff and take ground samples and GPR and I mean, it's gonna blow people's minds. So.
And again, where's that going to debut? On what channel or what medium?
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be out on hopefully one of the major networks. I can't really say yet. So.
Okay. No. when you're ready.
Yeah. When I'm ready, I'll call you and say it's time for me to be on the show again. I need to make an announcement.
And
absolutely,
and that's what we do. I mean, we've been doing that for Seth Breedlove, and with their packages coming out this year, and probably because I hung out with them, but it's a great guy. So that's
Colette. I will be coming to the UK this year in September, so I'm excited about that.
Oh, very neat.
Yeah.
What are you going to be doing there?
Can
you not talk about it?
No, it's a Paracon.
Oh.
So if it actually goes through, I'm going to be super stoked. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Promoting the Hinsdale House.
I've been asked to be a guest speaker at the Paracon, and we're going to be doing like a 3-day event thing where we're investigating there. Which I mean, God, to be able to go over there and investigate and get paid for it. I mean, it's just a dream come true for me. I mean, I can't. It's going to be cool.
Good for you. That's going to be one heck of a trip.
Yeah.
That's great. Wow. Yeah, you have a lot of doors and windows and avenues that are opening up for you. It really took off. I remember when I first met you, I don't think you had even had Hinsdale that long, right? And you had just started, you had just purchased it, acquired it. You were just starting to get moving with it, right? And it was like overnight, things just kind of took off.
Right.
Yeah. It's just insane.
When you take leaps of faith, sometimes that's what you need to do in order to move forward in your path, and I took a huge leap of faith with that.
Absolutely. Hi, Patricia. Patricia is Dom. Dom is one of our WLFE family.
Oh, nice.
A couple of shows on the network. Yes, and this is his mom.
So we're at the 9:00 hour. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and if you got to jump up and run to the bathroom or grab something to drink, this is a great time to do it. So quick little word from our sponsors and from the rest of our WLFE family.
WLFE-DB.com, where you can find vodcast shows, podcasts, and more like Where's My Sage, Inside the Drag Closet, Across the Pond, Paratalk Radio, Just Cindy, and more. So go check out WLFE-DB.com, where talk radio is a whole lot better. Our shows are your shows, and that there makes for a great talk radio.
Hey guys and dolls, this is Casey DeVille, the better half of DeVille Inc., Baltimore, Maryland. If you're ever in Baltimore, stop in and see me and Tony. Invisible Bree, 5920 Eastern Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland, 21224. Give us a call if you're in the area, 410-400-9641, or look us up on the web at DeVilleInc.com. DeVille Inc., where we specialize in you.
Ted Van Son Jr. is a seasoned investigator and well-versed in the ways of paranormal investigation. He is now ready to share his ideas and unique approach with all of you. Flashlight, recorder, and comfortable shoes. Hit the ground running as you follow this easy step-by-step guide to a fun and thorough paranormal investigation, perfect for first-time and lightly seasoned investigators. Think outside the paranormal box. Learn all about the technology and techniques used back in the early days of paranormal investigation. You can find these valuable resources online at Goodreads, Barnes & Noble, Walmart, and Amazon. Get yours today.
Hi, I'm Jenna Grover. In the world of fashion, we get lost in the cost. Everyone wants that special piece of quality jewelry, but they can't afford it. Not on my watch. I sell handmade quality jewelry for a fraction of the price, and that includes jewelry made of sea glass, natural stone, crystal beads, glass beads, Bigfoot jewelry, and more. If you don't see what you want, email me, because I make custom jewelry too. Check out my website at gbythesea.com. Also, you can email me at jewelry@gbythesea.com.
You're listening to WLFE DB Radio. Now, back to our program.
Welcome, folks, and welcome back to Where's My Sage. I'm Mike, Christy, and our special guest, Daniel Klaes, tonight. We're coming to you from WLFE DB Radio on Facebook, Where's My Sage on Facebook and YouTube, and all of our wonderful podcast locations as a replay later in the week. Christy London's business page and her public page, Tactical Bigfoot Research on Facebook and YouTube. So Dan's with us tonight. He's talking about some of his experiences. We've got some great little things going on. He's got some amazing programs. So those folks that are tuning in now, please share, like, and subscribe to all our pages so our friends can see. And if we can re-hit with this new top of the hour, the program you got coming on with Nick, and we'll hit that again one more time. I know you mentioned you wanted to get that word out. So
yeah, I also just wanted to give props to. I was wanted to get the link, but the festival that I'll be at in the UK is called the Festival of the Unexplained, and I put that link up there. If anybody's over in the UK, I know Colette is in the UK, and I would love to see you face to face. That would be so cool. But that'll be in September, so like that page, check it out. And they also do a lot of great things online too. They've done some online festivals where they've had people speaking, and people can participate from all over the world. So it's really cool. Check that group out.
All right. Since COVID, are you doing a lot more virtual conferences and that kind of thing, or are you still getting out there to visit folks and check things out and meet in person?
I mean, I've done a lot of virtual festivals. I think I've done like 3 or 4 maybe, which is really cool. Mm-hmm. But I have actually, since things have gotten a little bit, I don't want to say laid back, but I mean, since the restrictions have stopped, we've been able to do some small tours, keeping social distancing in mind, and, working with people in that aspect. So we've just worked a lot harder to do what we would normally do. And actually, it ends up being better for the guests that are coming because you don't have maybe such a big group. So we've done some tours. I've done a couple. We did a Nick Groff tour at Ashmore Estates. There was an outdoor festival in Virginia that I got to go to. So I mean, I've been able to do some things, which I'm very grateful for, and just do what you can do, at this point, and take what you can take, and just keep moving forward,
That's all we
But
can
I've
do.
definitely been keeping busy, yeah.
And everyone out there, don't forget, if you have questions for Dan, please put them in the chat. We'd love to hear from you about anything. He has his hands in many pots. And I'm sure he has lots more pots planned to get to.
Yeah, this weekend's pot will be Ohio State Reformatory.
Oh,
Awesome.
I can't wait to get there. Cannot wait to get there. Yes, that's one that we're going to hit.
I've been there twice.
Sooner than later. Have you?
Yeah, I was at an event there, not this past year, obviously, but the year before that, with Chip Coffey and Amy Bruni, and myself and Steve Gonzalez, and it was cool. It was such an amazing place to be able to go there and investigate there and work with people, and it was cool.
Hey, your team's telling you need to get back there and do some filming.
Among other things, yeah.
Sandy's got a question. Are you going to do any more static cams at Hinsdale?
Yeah. I mean, we have that. We have them all set up and ready to go. It's just been a matter of having time to do them. Like it doesn't take a lot to set them up, but it takes a lot to monitor what you're doing. And with everything that we've been going through, the people that helped me do that, they've had COVID, and they've also had they're in the medical field, so they're just really getting a lot of hold at them at this time. So
yeah.
I mean, the plans are to definitely turn those back on. Paranormal Warehouse has started doing them again too. So we've streamed Paranormal Warehouse a couple times. So stay tuned to that as well. But
Right.
it's hard because you don't want to, you turn them on and then sometimes they freeze up. You guys remember using OBS, right? I mean, that's
yeah.
really,
For about a day, that's when we switched to StreamYard.
yeah. Well, we didn't have StreamYard then. So.
Oh yeah.
So for a new kid starting out in the paranormal investigations, what do you suggest? How to get started?
I would say just to maybe reach out. I mean, like I hear horror stories from people that are trying to get into paranormal investigating from other parts of the world, but I know like Western New York, like, man, if you were to bump into Tim Shaw, or if you were to stop at Paranormal Oddities or something like that and ask, man, would you get an earful? I mean, you would. Everybody seems to get along and work together in Western New York, and I just love the vibe here as far as working together. So I think that just ask and try to see if maybe you can jump on an investigation or come to a tour and just see kind of how things are done with a tour, and then just keep learning and asking questions, and then maybe do your own thing, maybe form your own group, or continue to work with other investigators. I've worked strongly with groups in the past, and I've also learned a lot from other people, being able to go to other locations and investigate other locations, and it's you learn from the teams that are normally there giving those tours. So it's good. So just have an open mind and ask lots of questions.
Yeah. Never be afraid to ask questions. Sorry, Michael. Teasing you.
I was just going to say that anytime I've been on an investigation with Dan, it's always great to be able to ask, because you're always right there to help the new kid on the block. Yeah. Especially coming from the cryptid side, yeah, my team was more heavily into the paranormal, except for Steve, and it was always good to sit, like we did Avon Inn or some of the other conferences that we've been to. But it's right. Always, you're always there to help that new kid, and you always find that location that's really got some amazing historical, background to it. If not the architecture of some of those places in Buffalo, I
think that the worst thing is bullying, and I not that happens, but I would never, I don't know. I just feel like a lot of that happens sometimes in other places. And I never want anybody to feel like they shouldn't be involved in something that they enjoy or something that they're interested in. And I just always have open arms when it comes to this stuff. And I never try to make people feel any, I don't feel like there's levels. We're all in the same playing field. And whether you're a beginner or somebody that's been doing it for 15 or 20 years doesn't make you, I mean, maybe you have more knowledge to give, but I just don't want to discourage anybody, because we need these people and we need the young minds to continue to be part of this so we can push it forward and maybe come up with some new plans of attack for the future,
I agree. Because even from the medium side of things, people will say to me, oh, I know I have these gifts and I know I can't do what you do. Like I'm never going to be on your level. And I look at them and go, what are you talking about? I started off at one point, and even though most of us do this our whole lives, and we just need that guidance to get to where we need to go in order to understand what's going on. Same with paranormal investigation or that side of things. It's the same idea. And if I mentor somebody, it's because I'm helping you to figure out what works for you and understand what you need to understand, so you and I can do the same thing. And then one day you're going to be a part of my network and I'm going to be a part of yours. And then we're going to go out and do things together and separately and have that network to always rely on. And, it's the same with the paranormal, side or the investigative side. And then we all come together too. And I just don't like when people go, oh, I can never do what you do. You're already doing it. What do you mean?
Yeah.
It's a never ending process, I think, for all of us, right? To learn and grow and continue to evolve.
We have to.
That's my piece.
I mean, what if you never did that in front of that big group at Statler? I mean, what do you call those again? I'm so out of it.
The psychic fair.
Yeah, but no, you went in front of a bunch of people and talked and just really looked your fears right in the face. And
the gallery readings.
Gallery reading,
yeah. I was very afraid of doing the individual readings with 55 people in a room. On top of that to me was very unnerving, very, very unnerving. Yeah. Hey, there's actually a question. Let's see here. Diana May wants to know if she should have the the autograph piece of signing from Hinsdale blessed. Should she be concerned about attachments? Which is a valid concern and a really good question.
Yeah, I mean, I personally have had them blessed, and I also have. I don't send anything out that I don't bless in sage. So, but I'd never hurts to use sage or do what you feel is the best thing that you need to do to continue to make sure that there's no negative attachments to anything. I mean, that could come from anywhere, just not because it's a haunted house. I mean, you could get a negative attachment from a doll or a coin or anything. So, I mean, it never hurts.
Absolutely. Good question. Very good question. I know people don't understand that, it's like you go to these tours, at the Statler and, other places we go, and, people think it's okay just to kind of sneak even a piece of paper, or just something like the piece of the wall. Ooh, look at this wallpaper. And they don't get it, that there could be energy attached to that. And you bring that home and it opens up a whole world of hurt. You know, you don't understand what you're really dealing with.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, never hurts to take precautions, I guess. Right.
Right. But it's nice to know. I didn't realize you did that either. I assumed, knowing you, that you did things like that, had them blessed before you had them sent out. But yeah, that's good to know. Is it just me, or am I really dark since we came back from the break?
You are extremely dark, which is very unusual. The lights haven't done anything.
I know. Look at that. It's like my lights are dim, but they're not. They're the same as they always are. And I'm thinking, I'm getting darker and darker. Is this the second half of this is going on?
Run your hand over the front. That's really
crazy, you guys.
This is interesting.
Very unlike my lights. This is driving me nuts. I'm like, is it my eyes? No, it's not my eyes. Wow.
So on YouTube, folks, I put up Dan's website as well as the Nick Groff giveaway. How did you cross paths with Nick? I mean, he said he came out there and just things worked out? You guys just decided to start working together, or?
Yeah, Paranormal Lockdown for the Hinsdale House was the first time that I came part of, with him and met him. And then, because they kept calling him to the house, I stayed in contact with him. He actually always kept an interest in the location because he was so drawn there. And then, just things just kept progressing, and then he asked me to be on the Statler Hotel episode that they did in season 2. So I got to help with that. And then he asked me to be part on his team, like as far as like getting booked for events and stuff like that, called what's it called? My mind is blank, but his booking agent Lee started Creepy People Entertainment, where he books people at events and stuff like that. So I inherited a booking agent from him, which is amazing. Him and Lee and Jennifer, and booking me at events, and asked me to be part of his Nick Groff tour. So it was always kind of like a mutual friendship thing, and then just kept growing to becoming one of my best friends. Like it's amazing. Like you never know where something's going to spark from. So
very
awesome.
true.
So what's the most amazing piece of evidence you've gotten on an investigation?
I mean, I always fall back on two circumstances. The first one is at the Riviera Theater in North Tonawanda. It was I was there with the Greater WNY Paranormal Society, and we had Cameron and the guys were out on the stage, and they had K2 meters on the left, center, in front of the stage, right of the stage, and the rest were out in the audience, trying to recreate like an audience and having people coming out and bowing and things like that. And we were getting the K2 meters to go off. And while they were doing that, I just wanted to kind of, just want to have that moment, where I'd never physically seen something with your own eyes. And you're always striving for that moment as an investigator. And this is kind of the first time I ever saw something like this that creeped the crap out of me. So I went up into the mezzanine level by myself, and I was just sitting at the baby grand piano. And we had a laser grid on, and we had a camera running, and I saw this shadow come out of there was an organ over on the wall, and it just glided right in front of me. And you took one of those deep gulps of breath, and then I felt just stop breathing. And it just, the goosebumps I had, and I just couldn't continue to keep going, it glided into the projection room, and I got up and ran out of the building. I was so scared. And then this was what I wanted, and I remember telling Louis, who's he does most of the photography stuff on the team, like, go plaster the upstairs, go plaster the balcony with pictures, dude, that thing is up there. And I just ran out to the outside of the street, and Louis captured it on a picture. And I was like, oh my God, like it was this creepy looking face looking down on us. And it to this day, I still doesn't make sense to me, because the laser light was not penetrating through the black, the darkness. And I don't know, just thinking about it, I don't know what it was, or how that could be possible, if it's an energy, like how's the laser light not penetrating through this energy. So that freaked me out. That was the first time I ever saw that. And then there was an instance at the Hinsdale House, when we were basically saying goodbye to the location. We were just me, Cameron, the group was outside. It was me, Cameron, and Michelle Ball in the living room, or in the kitchen. And I had a K2 meter in my hand. And at this point, all the electricity was out of the house. They even had, like, you wanted to use the toilet, you had to go run down to the pond and get a bucket of water and dump it in the toilet to flush it. I mean, it was, nothing worked anymore. And it was gutted and getting ready to be torn down. And I had started doing the research and learning about Flo and Joe Misnick, who lived there later. Because my thing was like, all this energy, there has to have been somebody else that lived here that experienced something. And this was just in my beginning stages of looking at this. And when I asked for Flo, I had a jolting sensation up my arm, and my goosebumps on my arm, and the K2 meter going all the way to 500 milligauss in my hand. And I continued to have what I felt like was a conversation with her. to the point where I said, will you hold my hand when we go up the stairs? And the K2 meter stayed lit in my hand all the way up the stairs into the master bedroom. And then when I crossed over into Mary's room is when I lost her. But this progressed for, you use the K2 meters and sometimes they go off and on and you think that's a ghost. I mean, this thing's, if that was Flo Misnick, she's acknowledging me and acknowledging the fact that I asked her to hold my hand. And then the kicker was, like, at this point I didn't know Jackie Chandra, who was her granddaughter. And, you got your black shirts on, you're a team, you just went and investigated the night before. What's the first thing you do when you get home? As you post, hey, this is where I investigated last night, and I was being all cool and putting it on my Facebook page. And then I got a message from Jackie, and she says, oh, you were at my grandma's house. I go, what? I go, who's your grandparents? And she said, Flo and Joe Misnick. I'm like, you got to freaking be kidding me right now. Like, that sold it for me right there. Like, synchronicities of all that happening and within 24 hours. And then getting in contact with the granddaughter, like, it was just unbelievable to me. And I feel like there's a connection with her there. Jackie feels a close connection with her grandmother at that location. And it just, I was flabbergasted from that, and that was one thing that I when that happened, I knew that we had to try to save that place. I knew that if there's any power that I could have to try to get that place saved, that I was going to do it, because that was just another level saying, okay, there's definitely more to this place than this exorcism, and there's energies that want to speak, or there's energies here that have to have a voice, and we need to really understand what's going on with this property, more so the property than the house, and everything that's going on there. So it's become such a good place for everybody. So
okay, got two follow-ups to that. One, do you know of any English teachers that might have lived there or perished there at all?
English teachers? No, not that I know of.
Because I have one EVP, and Christy was standing with me. We were out at the fire with a couple others, one of the Jack strips, and I asked if it was tranquil. And as you know, I mumble half the time. And we got yes, and then no, it's tranquil. And Ken looked at me and replayed it, and everybody else heard it with clear as day. So just wondering if we had any English
and I was
teachers
standing
up there.
right next to him when he was recording, and we were doing that EVP, and everybody around the fire, nobody said a word. I mean, I was right there. It was crazy.
And we brought it back in, didn't tell him what was there, just play it. And, so it was an interesting day. Any other, is there a location that has scared you so much that you won't go back?
No, I don't think so. I don't think that there's definitely been some time where I've been creeped out, like I've been creeped out at locations like the Bel Air house. I was creeped out at, but I would definitely go back there, the Dnipro Ukrainian Center in downtown Buffalo. I got creeped out down in the basement there as well. I heard this growl with my ears that scared the crap out of me. But I think at this point, I'd be more prone to, if I see a spirit, I'd be probably more prone to run at it than run away. And I think that I would really, if anything happened that startled me, I'd really want to look at everything. The emotional side for me is a little bit different than it was when I first started. So, I think I'd give everything a chance, and a second chance, and a third chance. Just to try to recreate if something happened that was negative. I'd want to see if it would happen again.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you know me. I'm in deep thought at the moment.
You are.
Trying to follow up the background.
Go for
it. Those locations, that have that little creepy feeling to them. Have you ever felt you left those locations and something might have packed along in the backseat of the car on the way home?
I don't feel like anything's ever come home with me. I take my precautions, at every location that I go to. Everybody has their own kind of ritual thing that they do when they're at a location. Mine's personal, what I do. And I don't feel like, I don't know. I don't feel like anything's ever come home with me. Nothing's really ever affected my family, knock on wood. but I take my own personal precautions. And I also feel like I'm being looked over when I'm doing this stuff. I feel like when I'm put in a position to do something, that I feel like there's a power, another being keeping an eye on me and what I'm doing and keeping me safe. And I believe in that, and that helps me with what I do.
That's
Were you
important.
brought up in a very religious family, or just you think it just worked towards this?
I think we went to church. I think I'm on a different spiritual level than I was when I was a kid. I believe in God, and I think that He protects us when we're doing stuff. And I feel like I said, like with the house, I feel like I was kind of put in that position. Like the house called to me, and I don't know. I feel like there's a plethora of spiritual warriors that are keeping an eye on me when I'm going. Like even Bernice would be one of them. Like she's keeping an eye on me when I go to these locations, and she'll kick my ass if I'm doing the wrong thing. So I wouldn't hear the end of it.
She's very good at letting you know she's around and coming through in different ways. So we don't know she's the one coming through until you validate her. It's pretty cool, actually. Spirit can be crafty that way.
And again, folks, if you've got questions for Dan, please drop them right into the comments, and we'll get them right up here on the screen.
Here's one for you right here. Chanel wants to know if your daughter is still doing the pay it forward. She is so sweet and just the biggest hearted little girl. Sheely is awesome.
Yeah, well, she did the pay it forward, and she raised over $1,000 for the Lost Limbs Foundation with her little thing that she did a couple of years ago. But we've made a couple of videos for her. She likes to do that stuff, so we have fun. She's got her own little page on YouTube called Pickles. So when we have time, we have fun making the videos. Hence
the name. I couldn't think of anything else. I was like, no, we gotta go with the pickles. Hello, Mr. Tim Shaw.
Good evening, Tim. So that just clicked another thing in my head. So I know Tim's out there chasing cryptids. Can we get you out there chasing cryptids?
Yeah, for sure. I would do it.
So what can we get you out there looking for besides the good old
Can it warm up a little bit first?
Yeah.
I'm with you.
I'll be out there for sure.
I'm with Dan.
Yeah, but I would love to do that. I think that would be fun.
So what would you like to go out and look for?
I mean, I'm game for anything. Like whatever you think would be. I mean, I would look to you for expertise and then learn from you. Like it would be something that I would want to learn. I've done like where we've had like classes at the house where we brought up the Center for Cryptozoology and learned how to do like tree knocking and stuff like that, and using different types of devices to try to hear the sounds and the noises coming from the forest and what we're deciphering. But I would love to learn more, and it would be fun. I mean, just as fun as ghost hunting, and if you found something, God, that would be great.
Yeah, I was watching another podcast last night, and they're like, well, does anybody go look for Bigfoot ghosts? And I'm like, there's something we got to do. We got enough of us in Western New York between you guys and Tim and Joe and us. We could definitely go look for some Bigfoot ghosts, I guess. Go down the Alleghenies or something.
There you go.
So we went over
That would be fun.
I'm with you, Tim. Pizza and cheeseburgers afterwards, all the way.
That pizza that Tim gets.
Yeah, those giant
of that pizza.
Yeah.
Holy crap!
Oh my god!
There's another Western New York guy.
Yeah, you have a lot of fans out here right now. So you have some books out there too. I want to kind of touch on the books. Tell us about your books that you wrote.
I mean, I just have the one book that's finished right now that it's been out since 2017. It's Hinsdale House, An American Haunting. I'm very close to finishing the second book. I have like literally one chapter to write, and it'll be done and out. So that'll be kind of
clues?
It has to do with the Hinsdale House, and it's basically updating everybody on the history and all of the new things that have progressed since I wrote the first book in 2017. Awesome. So that Angela Val has been helping me with this one. She stayed at the house for weeks on end, and part of her experience as an investigator will be in this book as well. So it's going to be pretty neat, pretty good one. I kick myself in the ass to finish doing that. I don't know what it is about writing. It's not difficult, but it also, when you think about it, it's like, do I do that, or do I work on this website, or do I work? And it's like, right. I always find myself like trying to get all the busy work done, and it's like, and by the time it's 3, then I look, it's 3, 4 in the morning. It's like, oh, I got to be up in 3 hours. I better try to get a little bit of sleep, and
right.
It's but it'll get done. It'll definitely get done. So, mark my word.
Sandy, to answer your question on URA and Bigfoot, I actually talked to a guy just recently that had one on thermal down there. And Tim, Italian Bigfoot with tomato sauce. That's definitely an interesting, run through. So what's your favorite scary movie? Tim's, yep. Christy had it up there. Mr. Shaw would like to cuddle with an Italian Bigfoot. They smell like tomato sauce.
Oh.
Must be a Buffalo thing, I guess.
Absolutely. Covered in wing sauce, right? And blue cheese on the side.
There you go.
So what's your favorite scary movie?
Oh man. I don't know. Like, I like a lot. I like the old classics like Friday the 13th, but you can also.
Oh my God, is that a classic? That's an 80s movie.
It's a classic. It would be considered a classic now.
Over 25 years old.
Yeah. If it's over a century old, or half a century, then you're talking classic. Crazy. So those were out when I was a kid. So, and those were,
I know.
You think of Freddy Krueger and Michael Myers and Jason were the ones that I grew up on. So it's always good to reminisce and watch those old, and how they're so cheesy now, but it's still fun to watch.
They are.
The Exorcist was good. I don't have a lot of time to watch a lot of movies, but and it's not even like so much creepy, but I think that I get wrapped up in a lot of the new kind of like, what could this world be, type of thing. Like, are we actually going down this path? Could this actually be our world? Like Divergence, that movie, the Divergence 1, 2, and 3, things like that. It's like, you don't know. So, but I don't know.
So talk about the show that you're on, though. You're on a new show.
It's an old show, but it's new for me. Yeah, Ghost Finders.
Well, okay, new for you, yes.
They've been around. The show that we're producing now is, I'm very happy with what we're doing as far as the team goes. I came on for season 9 and was involved with a couple locations where they shot the show, and I was very impressed with what they did, being an independent show. And he had asked me to join them when they were doing the Virgin House, and at that point the other guy that was on the team was leaving, and he had asked me if I would join them permanently. And I thought, man, like, with how busy I was, and already having my own team, and then I really had to put some thought into it. And it wasn't anything against them. They do an amazing job, and I thought, how well I gelled with them as a group, and how much I enjoyed having Rob and Megan there. And then we added Melody Knapp, who I've worked with in the past, and it just felt right, and it was cool because when we filmed, it could fit into everybody's schedule. Mm-hmm. So it was a situation where we would all work each other's schedules out and have a filming date, maybe for a week, like we did the week in California, and filmed some really cool locations. And we filmed it differently. We started filming like season 10 so differently. Each episode is its own special. And we're, using cameras that are $25,000 to $30,000 cameras, and we're filming it cinematically. We're not using the typical IR lighting, and we're filming everything, and that you can just see. You see what we see, type thing, and there's no hidden tricks or anything like that. And I just love the whole cinematic view of the paranormal. And the history that we used at the locations that we went to. And also, the thing that I always thought, like watching the paranormal shows, how they get stale, like same old stuff, people walking through the dark, hearing something in the corner or whatever. And I'm not saying that doesn't happen, because it's happened to me. But for me, as somebody that's watching the stuff, it just gets stale, So I thought it was important to add like reenactment. So like when we're talking about something or something happens, we have actors and actresses in there that are actually doing a reenactment of what's going on, and at the location. And I think that adds to for viewership, to actually be able to paint that picture for them when we're talking about the history and stuff like that. Makes it a little bit more interesting. So if anybody's seen it, I mean, we have 3 episodes up so far on ViDi Space, 3 specials that we've done. One at Winchester Mystery House, one at the Haldeman Mansion. The next one's coming out is Fort Mifflin. So that'll be out soon.
Which was your favorite location so far? Wow, this is so weird. I'm telling you, I'm feeling funky over here. My lights are totally off. This growing thing has been happening the whole show.
Yep.
It's weird. Very weird. So yeah, which was your favorite location so far?
I really liked Winchester Mystery House. I wish I could have had more time there. I mean, to even be able to have the location to yourself at all for any given amount of time was amazing. But I would just love just to be able to spend more time there and wander those hallways and nooks and crannies and hidden rooms and rooms that go nowhere. And it's really interesting place.
It's an amazing place.
Yeah.
Now you said you started it with the team at Bergen.
Well, I filmed with them at Hinsdale, and then I also got them into, I'm like, man, they did a great job, Hinsdale, and I'm like, Rob, you need to film. And I started just giving them all the locations and all my friends. I'm like, oh, go to the Greystone, go to Wildwood, go to Bergen. I'm giving them all these locations to go to, and it was like they filmed the last part of season 9 in Western New York. It's just funny. But
I was just wondering if you got anything good out of Bergen.
Yeah, I mean, I had Amy Perry Lane was on that episode with me, a friend of mine. You guys probably know her too.
Yeah.
She we got to investigate together on the outside of the barn, and we were having some amazing things on the outside of the house happening when we were there. As far as communication, something was thrown. We found an old bottle that looked like it was dropped from the ceiling into the wall, and it was just pretty neat, pretty cool.
Yeah, the strangest things I've ever seen are at that house, so I just can't explain some of the stuff I've seen there.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's an amazing location,
It's creepy.
Definitely.
So you're also doing other tours through Western New York, correct? Still with brown paper tickets and that kind of stuff for the apparel from looking at your website?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, we'll be starting tours in the spring. We'll be meeting next week to talk about Lafayette and the GLF grain terminal, which we did some amazing tours at in October last year, in September, October. And it's just these are just more locations for people that are interested in the paranormal to explore. There's so many. I mean, there are probably endless amounts of locations in downtown Buffalo. If we were able to get into them, that I would just cringe at getting into. But to be able to get into these locations and actually explore them and work with people and use your tools and come up with unexplained things happening is really cool. The GLF grain terminals, I mean, has a lot of death associated with it. I mean, you're talking about the Irish settlers that were fighting for jobs during the Depression era, working in these, and these are hard ass jobs, man. I bet you 80% of the people today couldn't do these jobs that these people were doing, back then, hauling these 500-pound bags of grain, and it's crazy,
It was.
And I remember we were there and we were trying to capture some evidence because Destination Fear was coming. They were coming to film there.
Yeah.
And we caught this. We caught it. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but we captured a full body apparition of something, and it was peeking at. You could see it peek like this out at us in between the grain terminals. It was like, wow. And then it also the from the top floor, like 11 stories high, something dropped from the top floor and hit through the grain elevator and hit the floor below us. And when we went up to the top to see how that could have happened, every grain elevator has like these shields around it, right? And it would have had to have been picked up and brought over the shield and dropped down. There's nothing that could have kicked or blown into there to be dropped down like that when we were walking by. So definitely trying to get our attention. And we've had some really good communication.
That's really crazy.
Yeah.
Oh no, I've got the feedback coming. That's weird. So we went over that. How often, or let's say, what do you use as your favorite recorder? Is it going back to good old fashioned analog, cassette tapes, or using the digital? What do you find you get the best quality sound when you're doing EVPs?
I mean, I've never used a tape recorder ever. Okay. I just the basic digital recorder, seems to do the best for me. Like I have like 4 or 5 different ones, and I this Sony one that I have, I know how to use it well, and I seem to get good responses on it, and the quality of it's pretty good. So, and it's funny, like I have a DR60 too, and for me to have it, it's more of a nostalgia thing. But comparing the quality of the recorders that you can buy today that you would buy that DR60 for are like night and day, like you definitely can get stuff off it, but I don't feel like you can hear it as well as you can on the newer recorders, the quality of it,
So you don't think that the noise canceling will pull that information out? I'm saying you don't lose the quality with the noise canceling?
I love that feature. I do love that feature on the DR60 where it only picks up the noises, because it makes listening to that 3 or 4 minute recording go by so much quicker, So that is one feature that I do like of that. But there are recorders that come out that have that today, like better quality, I think. So
yeah.
Question there, partner? See you thinking over there.
Is there any equipment out there that you want, like what's your next piece of equipment that you want to use? What's the next thing out there? Is there something out there that you have not tried?
I have this new thing. It's called the Paralight. You want to see it?
Yeah. He's like, wait, I have to go upstairs around the corner. Okay. No.
So again, folks, we've got Dan's web address. I'm going to stick that back in the comments again while he's getting his equipment out here. They are listed on the YouTube. So if you're listening through iHeart or iTunes or Spreaker or Spotify, you can go right over our YouTube, Where's My Sage, and you can find those links to Dan's website. And that brings you some information on the Hinsdale House, Wildwood Sanitarium, Dan's calendar, his merchandise, and a few other folks as well on there. I'm also going to drop the giveaway information back into the chat here as well. And that's the Nick Groff giveaway to investigate with him at Hinsdale House. And I'm going to bring that back up right here. Yeah.
Okay, so this, I just wanted to make sure I was giving props to the right. So this is kind of like and this is kind of just an unveiling because I just got it, but it's just it's a cool like that.
Oh.
So it's an EMF detector, and it's detecting the electric from my computer and stuff right now. But it lights up the different levels in there, and it's a lot bigger, and it makes the noise so you can actually see it. See, as I take it away, I mean, I have a lot of EMF right here, so
yeah,
it's I'm excited to use it, and it's just one of those basic lanterns, and it's called the Paralight, and it's by North Canton Paranormal Development.
Okay.
Did you see the different rainbow effect on it? Can you see that on the screen, or was it
no? Can you do it again?
Yeah, let me see if I.
Oh, it's like blaring. Does anybody else feel like it's blaring? It's almost
Yeah.
like red lights usually are.
But it's got it's got the whole rainbow. So it's got like the different each one will be like a different level of EMF, like you would get on an EMF detector, and then it goes up and down. But it's a lot bigger and a lot more visual. So like if I put this on the stairs and I'm over in 2 rooms over, I'm going to be able to see this. But if I have a K2 meter, I would be able to see the lights flickering. So it's just something that's basically the same idea as a EMF detector, except it's a lot bigger and it works really well. So it's pretty awesome. It's like a gigantic EMF detector.
That's really neat.
Yeah.
Huh.
I'm always looking for new stuff to try. So.
Yeah.
Now, have you looked into infrasound or different sound waves when you're doing different investigations to see if anything pops up at different? I mean, I think you, Tim, and I talked the last time we were at the Lafayette about when the EVP sessions go on and stuff like that. You can generally see some infrasound. Have you tried doing more with that kind of equipment? Or
I mean, I did this summer, but I haven't like lately. But there hasn't really been much investigating going on. So, I did this summer out by the pond at the Hinsdale House and tried using different light or sounds, different level sounds, to see if it would gather some type of a response. And it was pretty cool. It's thought provoking, to think about the different pitches that you're using, or even using sound that you can't hear, like a dog whistle or something like that. So yeah, I mean, it's something that I'm going to look into more. Just haven't really dove into it too much because of COVID,
Right.
Yep.
Here's a question for you. Brian from Bearded Paranormal wants to know what kind of voice recorder you use.
I just have a basic Sony that I use, and I have a DR60. I have I forget the name of the other one. I don't use it anyway, so I guess it doesn't really matter. But a Sony, I have a 360 mic that I use as well that I try to get use that for EMF as well, or not EMF, but voice recordings as well. So Sony's always been like my favorite, the Sony one.
That's what I use out in the field. It's nice and thin. It fits in a pocket, and it's just there when you need it.
I have a question.
All right.
Really? All right. We're going.
What's the best EVP you've ever gotten?
That was my question.
Oh, bull, whatever.
I think that I've gotten a lot of good ones, but I think the ones that we've gotten at Statler are amazing. We've got some amazing EVPs at Statler Hotel in downtown Buffalo.
Yeah.
Just as far as even just asking what type of drink, what do you drink on a Friday night, a shot and a drink. So clear,
really
and we've gotten so many from there. I've probably gotten the most EVPs from there.
Really?
Yeah. From one location. But of course, I've been going there for 10 years too. Like, the more you investigate a location, the more prone you are to get some feedback,
Sure. Especially when you form a rapport and develop a relationship with them too.
Yeah.
Would that be more from the top floors or more from down in the basement?
No, more from downstairs.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely more from downstairs, down from the ballroom downstairs and the desk graveyard area, which is no longer.
Yeah. We had some of the best interactions there.
It's so sad to see that they're just not. I mean, it's sad, but it's good. It needed to be. It's going to have new life, and I'm happy about that.
Right.
But it's sad to see all those memories that we have as investigators gone. I was just at remember downstairs where they had the old shoe shine thing, and it was
yes, of course. Oh my god, that was so cool.
The shoe shine was gone. And today I was at Seneca 1 Tower downtown looking at an apartment. The big tower downtown by the KeyBank Center that used to be the HSBC tower. So they've renovated the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th floors into apartments. And I'm down in the area, and the guy that owns the Statler owns Seneca 1 Tower. And I look and I go, is that the shoe shine stand from the Statler? And she's like, yes. And actually, there's history from all these places in this one building. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so cool. So there it is. It has new life and it's on display again and it's used again. So it's cool.
There was a spirit there that I used to talk with who used to shine shoes there.
Yeah.
And that's just, it makes me wonder if he would have followed then, like I wonder all these different places with all these different pieces, if they really are attached to that thing or if it's just, of the location, if they're going to follow and if they'll have experiences there now because of that. That's pretty neat.
Yeah. And definitely, I always remember putting the K2 meter down on the shoe shine stand and then all of a sudden starts going off.
Yes. I know. It was just so cool because it was right next to the old beauty parlor.
Yeah.
That was, guys, this was just awesome. For those who didn't see it, you're talking 40s, 50s. Like it was just really cool.
And it was sad.
They don't make them like that anymore.
It was in a way sad too because you knew that part of the building in its present state was never going to really be seen unless you were on a ghost tour. So now that it's out back on display makes me happy. And it also, knowing that part of the building is going to be utilized again because they're renovating that whole bottom floor again. And they're going to be putting stores in there and they're going to be bringing it back to the glory like it was. So
that's awesome. Because to hear my grandparents talk about it, and remember what it was like, because that used to be street level.
Yeah.
That area. So that was known. People would always frequent it and come and go from there. And that's just like you said, it's nice to see it.
Sorry to interrupt, but for our viewers that are from not the Western New York or Buffalo area, because some of us Rochester folks didn't even know what it was. What was the Statler?
The Statler?
The Statler. See, my tongue's not working again. The history. I mean, beautiful hotel in Buffalo. Yeah. What can you give me on the history for our viewers from out of the area?
900,000 square foot hotel. It was the first hotel in the world or in the United States that had a bathroom in each room. Like they worked out the plumbing. And Connor would tell me that the slogan was a bed and a bath for $1.50. And this was built in the early 1900s. And it's just an old, beautiful Victorian style hotel, grand ballrooms. They imported Italian marble. It was just built so magnificently. Just what they've done renovating the ballrooms is amazing, to just bring it back to its glory. The chandeliers were $700,000 each, imported crystal.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, it's just you don't see hotels like this nowadays. This is just something that you would see from an old mobster movie or something like that. Just so beautiful. Yeah. And throughout time, it was bought by the Hilton. It was called the Statler Hilton, and then it was just called the Statler Hotel. And it was used for businesses. There was a dental office in there, and the WBEN News Radio 930 used to have the top floor, and the radio station was at the top floor. So there's a ton of history with that building. And then it just everybody got evicted, and all the businesses that were in there left, and it sat empty because they just couldn't maintain the building anymore. And now it's getting new life. They're fixing all the floors up, all the plumbing. It's gonna be grand once again, a grand hotel, and there'll be businesses back in there, and it's gonna be. I can't wait. It's gonna be so cool.
Yeah, it will be really nice to see what they do with it going forward, and actually seeing it being used. I just hope that they in some way keep the history alive, and
they will. It was so cool when I was there a few weeks ago at the hotel. The contractors that are there have, the original blueprints from when it was first built. So because it's important to have that type of stuff in order to know the structural parts of the building. So if you're knocking something down, you don't want to knock down, God forbid, the wrong thing, Right. And just to see those old blueprints that Ellsworth Statler signed off on them. His signatures on each one, and just so cool. And I held it in my hand. I'm like, man, this would be so cool to have one. But that would be the one they needed or something. Right? Yeah, no,
Yeah.
It's so cool though.
Did they find anything, interesting looking at those blueprints? Did they find any other rooms or something that hadn't been explored? I mean, those hallways are just, that's, it's a mammoth hotel. I mean, it's just,
they've uncovered rooms that we normally didn't get to go into as investigators. There's been a few times that like Christy's been there and I've been there where it was just like investigators only night, and we've been able to go in places that normally we wouldn't bring tours to, and we've explored and found. It's amazing. It's like a weird hallway system in the basement, going through all these little corridors, and if you make a right turn, you might end up in a different part of the building you didn't know was there, and you're like, wow, this is cool. And then one time I ended up in the old dry cleaners. I'm like, oh, I would have never known how to get there, and they still had the dry cleaning tags there, and that was cool. And then I went to another area, and they had all these old 1980s political posters, and what was the guy's name? Jimmy Griffin, all these old Griffin signs, and it was so neat. Just to everywhere you turn, there's history, and it's been saved, so pretty neat.
Yeah,
they are going to be reopening the Turkish bath. They've cleaned that all out.
Really?
Yeah, and they've taken all they're doing it all the right way. I know that it was set up with the Connor's group. They had put all that air conditioning and all the all the, what do you call it, ductwork underneath, so they weren't going to really be using that part of the hotel anymore. But now with the new owner, they are going to rebrand it and reopen that back up, and it's all cleared, and there's lights on down there, and it's like you've never seen it before. It's amazing.
We've had some really good, when we were able to go down there, we had some really good EVPs and just activity that was recorded. Amazing. I can't wait to see what they do with it. Can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be cool.
Yeah, it is. Wow. Can't wait. That's awesome. I'm happy to hear that they're willing and open to the idea of being able to do things there again like this too, because I think it's important. We don't have a lot of those.
When I was at
a lot of that down there.
When I was at the Seneca One today, the lady asked me if my name was Dan because she knew that we were going to be doing a tour there with the staff. I'm like, yeah, that's me.
You can't hide. You can run, but you can't hide.
We'll do it. Do it for sure.
That's great. That's wonderful. Wow.
We've blown through 2 hours real quick.
I know.
Damn.
I know. Yeah. I can't believe it. This is crazy.
Just so much stuff. And, we will definitely get you out and do a little cryptid stuff.
Yeah.
And it warms up a little bit.
Yeah. So if it looks like behind your green screen, I'll be good with that.
Yeah, that's Chautauqua County. That's Chautauqua County. So yeah, that's the fall. That's October in Chautauqua. So
nice.
That's Mayville.
Beautiful.
That's we found some prints on that trip. Steve and Peter Weimer and actually Stacy's Horton found the print that day. Nice. But there's a Land Rover graveyard in this person's backyard. So
no big deal.
Crazy place. So
wow.
But thank you for keeping these locations, and helping keeping them going. Again, we wouldn't have Where's My Sage if you didn't put your time and effort into Hinsdale House, because we never would have met.
If that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah, so I blame you.
All things happen the way they're supposed to.
Yes, they do.
Absolutely. Everything happens for a reason.
When you're building bridges and doing things for the right reasons, other positive things happen, like Where's My Sage?
Yes. Thank you. Love it.
Appreciate it.
Well, it was really nice of you to come on. It was really fun having you and catching up with you again. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anytime.
Yeah. Stay warm. Take care of the family. Say hello to everybody, and hopefully we'll be working with you again soon.
Absolutely. Hopefully
stay
sooner
safe,
than later,
okay?
right? All right, guys.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Thank you,
All
sir.
right. Thank you so much. Take care, honey.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow, great episode.
Yeah.
Thank you for him coming on. Yeah, I always appreciate you folks stepping in and being with us. Again, please like, share, subscribe. Go on over to our podcast, please, guys, and like on iTunes, like it, share it, download it, help their numbers a little bit, as well as our YouTube. We've got some really great investigations coming up. We've got some really cool guests coming up very soon. I may even do some more gear stuff over on Tactical Bigfoot for you folks as we're getting prepped up for the spring, getting outside. And now it's getting brighter in your room, so that's kind of interesting. So again,
I still feel like I'm shadowy and dark. It's okay. It hides all my wrinkles. It's all good. Thanks, Jason.
And
so on that note,
again, who do we have next week?
Thank you, Gina. Me. We're having a reading show next week.
A reading show next week.
It's a reading show. Yes.
Okay. And who do we have the following week?
Following week we have. You're gonna make me check my schedule because I don't have it written down in front of me.
Yep.
Oh, is that our friend? Oh, we have Tom Connell, ufologist and author, joining us the following week. Yes.
We're going to do some UFO stuff. I usually try to run away from it, but we haven't done any real good UFO stuff. So we're going to grab some UFO stuff.
Come on, man.
We're going to give it a shot. So please, again, folks, like, share, subscribe, hit our Instagram, hit our YouTube. We've got that contest coming up. Take a look at that. Again, I posted Dan's website and his giveaway with Nick Groff over on our YouTube channel. So if you're listening a little late, go on over to Where's My Sage on YouTube, and that has all been posted up there. So
yes, please take a look. Please be supportive. There are so many projects and things going on all over Western New York and all over the different states and areas that you're in. So look them up, check them out, support them all, have some fun, learn a little bit.
Okay.
All right.
Well, guys,
time to wrap this one up, huh? Another one in the books.
Be safe and
sample on.